Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. It's right before Christmas. Got the Christmas tree up, got decorations up, and you know, in less than a week, Christmas Day will be over with, and we'll be closer to the New Year than we will be. It's 2026. So I'm looking forward to a great year, a prosperous year for all of us. From everything that I hear, there's some good things in play across the globe. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't know what comes true and what doesn't. I just know what I've heard. And so today, I wanted to share with you some information about my favorite products, right? And so this is more of a producty call. The last three webinars I've done, I've talked about how to build a business. I've talked about how to take your business and generate an income by doing one thing only, and that's teaching people how to get their product for free. And I think that's a great business model because we all love the products. When I get somebody started on the products, I find out that they all love the products. I talk to people every day who get started, and they have their favorites, just like I have my favorites. And so I'm not going to talk about all the products because I could talk all day on products, and I'm not going to talk about the science in depth because I think that we really don't need to know that. A lot of people, they didn't like science when they were in high school. They didn't like science when they were in college. And here as adults with their business, they don't want to be a scientist now either. So I'm just going to start out. I'm going to share some of my favorite products. Like always, I have my little notes here that I took. Um, the first one I'm going to talk about, it's a product that was just reformulated in the last month or two. It was just put on the market here this month. It's called 4Restore Plus, and 4Restore is a product that is based on a Nobel Prize from back in the 90s. They found that L-arginine was a really important molecule that helped to open up arteries and help to increase blood flow. And so there's been a number of studies that have been done on it. And I remember when me and Tom Sr. were talking about it, and he decided to come up with 4Restore. We talked quite a bit about the product and about the ingredients. And so I guess it was 2 weeks ago, Tom Jr. and I had a discussion. We talked for about an hour about the new formulation. He's actually using someone else's patent and on the new product, and the new patented ingredient has 8 human studies done on it. And what's important about having an ingredient that has human studies is that you can make claims because the studies were actually done on the ingredient that we're using. It's not an ingredient that, like a generic ingredient. We're actually using the study, or we're using the product that was studied. So with that, you can make medical claims. And so there's 8 human studies that have been done on it. And the one that I'm going to talk about right now is a study that shows that it increases blood flow by 34%. And that's really, really important because, with all the different things that we eat, the diet of most people isn't all that good. And with lack of exercise and the things we drink, what ends up happening is the arteries tend to get partially plugged up. And with the L-arginine, with the form of L-arginine that's in 4Restore, they've shown that it increased the blood flow by up to 34%. That's really, really important. For me, I know that certain forms of heart disease run in my family. My mom had some different things going on. So I like to use products that are going to help out with cardiovascular function. And that's why I talk about 4Restore as being one of my favorite products. The next one I'm going to talk about is Age Pill. And Age Pill, I guess it was 8 years ago, Tom Sr. came out with the formulation for the Age Pill. And I had been reading up on a number of different things, and I started taking different ingredients, and I was taking these, and then when Tom started talking to me about the age pill on one of his and my many conversations, he told me about what the ingredients, and I said, "Oh, I'm already taking that. I'm already taking that. I was already taking nicotinamide riboside." And he said, "Well, how did you find out about that?" And I said, "Well, I read up on these different things, but the age pill is designed to increase um, NAD plus production. NAD plus is a molecule that is fuel for the body. It's like having the nitrogen fuel, or not nitrogen, but the nuclear fuel for our nuclear power plant. It's that important. And so what it does, I'm going to move a little bit here because I'm getting some reflection from the sun right in my eye. So hang on one second while I move to a different position. See if that's better. Perfect. Yeah. Um, so I started taking the individual ingredients that are found in the age pill, and I saw just some spectacular results. One of the things that I've always prided myself on is I've got a great memory. I could go to class when I was in college, and I could memorize everything that the instructor would talk about, and then I really didn't have to study as hard because I could memorize things just that easily. Well, after I turned 50, 51, somewhere in there, I noticed that I started having to take little post-it notes and jot things down all the time. And at the end of the day, lo and behold, I'd have a pocket full of post-it notes, and then I'd have to keep them for the next day because that would be my to-do list right away in the morning when I got up the next day. And so I started using the age pill. And one of the first things that I noticed was that I didn't have to take notes anymore. I didn't have to keep notes on myself. I didn't have to have little reminders everywhere to tell me, what I needed to get done. So that was one of the first things that I noticed when I started using the age pill. One of the next things that I noticed was about that same time, I started noticing that I needed reading glasses in order to read books, the newspaper, even my computer. I found that I needed reading glasses, and I started taking H pill. And I would say it was within the first 3 months of taking the H pill, I noticed for myself that I didn't have to use reading glasses anymore, and that was two of the most important things that I noticed. But NAD is also something that it's the fuel for the sirtuin genes. And for those of you who don't understand sirtuin genes are the genes in your body that help repair damaged DNA. And they need fuel to do what they're supposed to do. And NAD is the fuel. So with H pill, we've got 5 different pathways for your body to make NAD. So it's really, really important. And so that's another one of my favorite products. The next one is a product that was just put on the market in 2020, just 5 years ago. And I just don't really feel like it ever got the fanfare that it should have. Because about the same time that well, at the exact same time that we were launching the age pill, we were also, or not the age pill, but we were launching Stemolytics. Uh, that's when the pandemic hit. And so the problem with that is that, the importance of anti-aging kind of went down the chain, and the importance of just dealing with the pandemic, with this virus, that was considered more and more important. So yeah, I even saw Tom Sr. putting all of his time into focusing on talking about the pandemic rather than talking about Stemolytics. But Stemolytics was really, really important. In 2019, at the World Congress of Stem Cells, Aubrey de Grey and some of the others that were there were discussing the importance of senescence. And what happens with senescence, without getting way into the science, is that's when your stem cells start to get old, and as they get old and crippled up, just imagine a crippled up old stem cell. It can't do what it's supposed to do. And what stem cells are supposed to do is they're supposed to repair damage in your body. They're supposed to replace damaged cells and things like that. But when they aren't working properly, what ends up happening is they don't just go to sleep. And that was one of the things that scientists used to think, that when these stem cells got worn out, they would just kind of go in the corner and stay over there out of the way and not cause any trouble. But what they discovered was that these old stem cells, when they went into senescence, what they would do is they would start causing trouble. Think of them kind of like being rioters. They'd cause riots, and not only that, they would go out and they recruit other, um, maybe older stem cells to join them, to join in on the party, and so together they'd go out and cause trouble. And what they found is that senescent cells are the cause of a lot of types of disease. They found that they're the cause of certain types of cancer. They're the cause of certain types of diabetes, like type 2 diabetes. They found that's the cause for certain heart disease, Alzheimer's, vision problems, all these different things. So, so when we developed Stemolytics, the whole idea is we're going to use the body's own healing system to get rid of those old, dead, dying cells and replace it with new, healthy stem cells. And so the Stemolytics uses 8 different pathways to do that. Where if you look at all the other senescent products, Stemolytic type products that are on the market, they might use one or two. I've seen one that will actually use 3 different pathways. We use 8 different pathways to get rid of these senescent cells, and so that's really, really important. Now, for me, another one of the important products for me is Renovator, and I'll tell you why I love Renovator. I've never been one of those people that took it easy on my body. I started riding mini bikes and motorcycles when I was young, um, lifting things that I probably shouldn't have, doing things with my brothers that I probably shouldn't have, and I've injured myself a lot. I broke my back in 2020. I had broken my back when I was in high school. I've gotten in a couple of accidents, one of them major, and 8 years ago, X-rays showed that I had degenerative arthritis in my right knee, and I doubled the amount of Renovator that I was taking. And now I just had X-rays taken here in October, and the arthritis in my right knee is gone. I mean, on X-ray, it actually you can visibly see that the arthritis is gone. Where it was getting, it wasn't bone on bone. When you hear people talking bone on bone, it wasn't bone on bone, but it was starting to thin out quite a bit. Where the 2 different bones, the tibia and the fibula, I mean the tibia and the femur, were getting close together, and now that joint space is back to normal. And I really don't have a lot of knee pain. I can go for long walks with my dog. I can't, unless it's a day like today where it's, sub-zero. I go for walks with my dog, and I'll walk 3 miles a day, and virtually have very little pain, if any at all. And so Renovator has been a really, really important part of my regimen. So the last product, and it's actually 3 products. It's a product combination that I'm going to talk about, is the Triangle of Life. Um, it's it's just such a great product combination that you really should include it as just one product. You should just do this every single day. The first one I'll talk about, part of the trio or the Triangle of Life, is the Eternity. And what Eternity is, it's resveratrol, and there's a lot of companies that make resveratrol, but the studies that go back when and I can't list his name because he always gets upset when you list his name, but he's at a major university on the East Coast. When he did his studies on resveratrol, he talked about how important this discovery of resveratrol is going to be, and all of a sudden, red wine was just being run off the shelves because resveratrol is found in red wine. Well, our Eternity product, the equivalent of drinking one little 20-ounce shot glass of our resveratrol product, or a 1-ounce shot glass of our resveratrol product, is similar to drinking 350 glasses of red wine. I mean, think about that. That's how much resveratrol we have in it. Not only that, they found that resveratrol is it's highly oxidizable. When it's exposed to oxygen, you lose the potency. And so most products, they don't pay attention to that, and they put it in pill form, or they might put it in liquid form, but most are in a pill form. And what happens is, in order to dry that out, it's exposed to air, it's exposed to oxygen. So by the time it gets into the product, I've heard upwards of 90% of it is inactive form of resveratrol. Right. So what we do with ours, we have a special process where we take and we put it into the liquid without ever exposing it to air or oxygen. And what ends up happening is we have a product that's very, very potent. The next product that's on the list with the Triangle of Life is it's called fucoidan. And what fucoidan is, it's a liquid nutraceutical product that's made from an extract from brown seaweed. Brown seaweed from the South Pacific, which has been found to boost the immune system, support a healthy immune system in the body, but it also has been found to be a great anti-inflammatory. So for somebody like me that's beat up a little bit, and we all tend to have a little bit of what they call chronic low-grade inflammation. So we could almost everybody could benefit from fucoidan. And I'll talk to people and they say, well, if I just buy one product, which one would you recommend me to buy? And I'll always recommend fucoidan, because I know that if they take fucoidan every day and they don't miss a dose, do it every day for 90 days. At the end of 90 days, they're going to tell me that they feel better. And that's what I see every single time. But fucoidan and resveratrol, there's another important thing that these products are able to do is it's called anti-angiogenesis. And what anti-angiogenesis is it cuts off the blood supply to tumors. Well, that's really, really important in today's world, because it seems like, cancer rates, they're not going down, and they're expected to go up in the next 25 years. So eternity and resveratrol are really important to that. I can't make any medical claims. All I can do is say resveratrol, and which is in eternity, and fucoidan, the extract from fucoidan, which is found in our fucoidan product, are both very, very excellent for that. And so I take it for a number of reasons. Cancer seems to run on my dad's side of the family as well. And then the third part of the triangle is called Spectromax. And Tom Senior and I, when we talk, he'd always tell me that Spectromax, if he could buy just one product, it would be Spectromax, because he knew how much active ingredients actually went into that product. There's 74 trace essential minerals, and according to Linus Pauling, who's got the Nobel Prize a couple of times, he said that if you have a chronic disease going on, you could almost always trace it back to a deficiency of one of the trace essential minerals in your body. And so we have 74 trace essential minerals. And if you go out and you pay attention, if you look at different trace essential mineral products on the market, you're going to find that not very many have more than, maybe 18 or 20 different minerals in it. And we have 74. Plus, we have 40 antioxidants. And I'm not going to get into the whole reason why there's 40 antioxidants, but there is a very, very good reason for that. And it helps with slowing down the aging process. It helps with the whole healing process, because when your body is going through healing, it gets to a certain point, and if the mineral isn't there to complete the next step of healing, what ends up happening is it just stops. It stops dead in its tracks. So you might be healing up great for the first, hour, 2 hours, maybe 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden the healing process just slows down. Well, that might be because you have a deficiency of one of the antioxidants or one of the minerals. And so those are a list of my favorite products. Now, I'll tell you, I take almost everything. Right now, I'm on a quest to lose weight. I've lost over 15 pounds already this fall, and after Christmas, because Christmas is an awful tough time to try and lose weight. But after Christmas, I'm going to really get on the stick, and I want to lose 50 pounds by summer. And I've done my research on it. I'm going to follow a carnivore diet. And I'm going to take my Sisel Thin and my different gut essential type products, the enzymes and the probiotic, because if your body's not absorbing the vitamins and the minerals that you have, how in the heck are you going to stay healthy? And that's one of the reasons that we tend to overeat is because your body's not getting what it's supposed to get. And it may not always be that you're not getting the product in your diet, the mineral. Maybe you're just not absorbing it. So anyhow, that's going to be an important thing. So I'm not going to say that any of the other products aren't as important. It's just that I was trying to come up with, what 5 products wouldn't I miss if I had to take and put together a list, and that's what I put together today. So I was supposed to have a couple people on here that would have shared their story, and I don't know what happened. It's holiday time and weekend, so sometimes things happen. Anyhow, so I'm going to end it with that, and I'm just going to tell everybody, have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for being with me today, and I look forward to the new year. Bye bye.